But then they also have alternate shot coming around.
Oh,
I don't
like
know if
that.
that's later today or
Okay.
what.
Well, maybe we'll make a
I
run
hate
there.
alternate shot.
Well, yeah,
Hate
because
it.
you don't want to be stuck where I put you. Although I
Well,
might bail you out too.
You could. You never know. You never know.
You might be wondering why I'm wearing this black hat with the gold A.
Is that for App State?
No, try again. And I don't know why the A is so small on these hats they made them. This should be a much bigger A, but this is the Army. And we are supporting the Army, of course, as we do every year in the Army-Navy game coming up this weekend in Philadelphia.
I got a bad feeling for the Army.
Yeah, they've won 3 in a row. It was a good move, a good run after losing about 14 straight, I think, to Navy. Overall, the Army has the lead in the series. I'm not exactly sure what it is, but they do have the lead, and they are 10-point underdogs in this game. So this is the weather could be a problem. There's 40 to 50% chance of rain, possibly a quarter of an inch the night before, so the field's going to be slow
Where
and sloppy.
are they playing the game this year?
The game will be played at Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia, where the Eagles play.
But they don't do that there every year, do they?
They don't, but typically that's the traditional home of the Army-Navy game. They've played it in Baltimore. They've played it in the Meadowlands. They've played it actually in the Rose Bowl one year back in the 80s. But this is Philadelphia is typically where the game has always been played. It is the traditional home of this game, and Navy is going to try to break a 3-game losing streak to Army after running off, I think, 14 straight. So it's probably going to be Navy's game to win. They're going to go to a bowl game. I'm not sure what Army's. I don't even.
And you're going to the game.
I'm going to the game, baby. I've got
First
some
time
friends.
ever?
First time ever. Friends going to take me in there. We've got some friends that are inviting us up, so we're going to go up there, my wife and I, and we're going to have a good time and watch Army Navy.
Well,
I've never been to that, so it's kind of a bucket list.
Well,
item.
yeah, I mean,
you know what I mean.
It's phenomenal watching it on TV.
Watch them march in the
my
stadium
question
and
is
everything.
because all your fans around the world know that you're a jersey guy. You wear jerseys to games. Are you going to have an Army jersey on?
Jersey guy. I thought you meant like I'm from Jersey.
No, you wear jerseys.
Well, I wear hockey jerseys to games. I don't wear football jerseys, or I actually do wear Yankees, Thurman Munson and Mariano Rivera jersey, but everybody does.
I think you need to get an Army jersey.
But maybe. I mean, they're going to change the jerseys up this year. There's a Nike and Under Armour are going to have competing jerseys. I think Navy's wearing the Under Armour and Army's wearing the Nike
Correct.
brand. And we'll see which ones we like better. Obviously, I'm going to like the Army uniform better, but Army is the road team. So Navy's the home team. They'll be in blue, and Army will be in white and black. So I don't know. I'd like to see it close. I mean, it could be.
They're always close.
They are.
Because they run the same offense. And so it seems like they're always close for a while.
Yeah.
And then maybe you break a couple long runs late in the
Yeah,
game.
I mean, and there's really, it could be a quick game. There's not much passing in this deal, and the clock's going to run. And I hope that Army stays with it, and it gets to be dramatic and close. Navy's ranked 23rd in the country. They're 10-point favorites. Army's 5-7. Does this mean if they get to 6 and win this game by chance?
No, they've already done all the bowl games.
They have. It's over. You're right. I should have known that. 9-2 for Navy. They're 9-2. Oh, they're going to kill Army.
Well,
you never know. Maybe not.
You know what's be interesting?
4th straight win for Army if they win it.
Has there ever been like a
120th
brawl in the Army Navy?
I don't know that, but one of the cool things they do is they sing their alma maters or their fight songs after the game, and the winner gets to sing last, and they all face each other at the end of the game and do that.
Are you going to stay to
their
watch
fan
that?
base.
Right?
Oh, absolutely. I'm not leaving that place until those soldiers march out of the stadium.
Very cool.
It is amazing. It really is, the uniform. So here we go with some text messages coming in already.
I like how Taylor blew that up so we could read it.
That does help. Taylor, working on it hard here with the technology. This is Rick once again, Shane.
Yeah, Rick says, go Army.
Ah, yes, Rick. Way to go, my man. I love that. You typically pull for the team your family served with, and mine served with the Army. Most people I know, though, have Navy ties. And I guess Navy is bigger than the Army. I don't know for sure if that's true, but this is the 120th game. And, like you said earlier, Navy is going to a bowl game. Last year, Army won 17-10, and they're looking for their 4th straight win. But Navy is a much better team,
right.
It looks like.
Navy wasn't very good last year.
No, they weren't.
And they only lost 17-10.
Sure. Yeah. Navy's playing in the Liberty Bowl, and they're going to play Kansas State in that game. And so they have an opportunity to make some noise at a national level in Memphis after this game. And I don't know, Ken Niumatalolo, amazed that I was able to blow that out in the first roll.
Very impressive.
Has just done great things at Navy. And it's one of those things where, Air Force, I guess the younger of the service academies never really is part of all this, but there's this thing called the Commanders in Chief Trophy. So that goes to the winner of the series between those three service academies. And I don't know if Navy is going for it this year. I can find out. I'll find out if you care who Navy lost to this year, and then we can see if Air Force was one of those teams. Because if they beat the Air Force, then they would be playing for the Commander-in-Chief's Trophy, which they did 34-25. So that's a big deal. The Commander-in-Chief's Trophy is a big deal. President Trump will be at the game. It's going to be just a real event, and hopefully the rain and the weather won't destroy everybody's mood because
I don't think it doesn't matter about the weather at this game.
Standing
at this
in
game,
the rain. I mean, do you want to stand in the rain?
Yeah,
I'm just talking about for me.
Buy a raincoat.
I'm wearing golf gear. I'm going to have rain pants and rain shirt.
And then put your Army jersey on top of that.
Yeah. Okay. I'll do that. I'll take a picture, send it to the show so that next week we have that.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you're interested in giving us a text or a call, it's 352-353-7465. We got a text here from Hank in Lake City.
Okay. Hank.
This just says, sounds like the Gators are making a late charge in recruiting.
Yeah.
Do y'all think we close strong? Obviously, neither one of us probably follow. Well, you will follow Alabama recruiting. I don't really follow Gator recruiting, but I will tell you this. I saw this last night, and the Gators have made a little run. We've had 6 players that were committed. They're all 4-stars that are committed to other universities that people think they're going to end up signing December 18th with the Gators.
Oh, wow.
Big offensive lineman from Sewanee Live Oak
Need that.
was committed to Georgia. He decommitted. Everybody think he's coming here. A Texas A&M defensive line commit who's a 4-star. An Alabama defensive line commit. An Oregon safety. He's a 5-star out of DeLand, I believe. He decommitted last night. Florida believes he's going to come here. A Pitt running back who's a 4-star, and a Tennessee safety who's also a 4-star.
I mean, that is that's what you're looking for. I don't care what anyone says. Those stars to me matter initially, and then we find out whether or not these guys are for real or not. But last night I was looking at 24/7 Sports, and Florida is high.
I think we're ranked 9th. Right?
Yeah, they're in the top 10, and right now, according to 24/7 Sports, LSU is number 3 with 23 commits. They have 14 5-stars, 14 4-stars, 3 5-stars. Clemson, of course, with 21 commits, 9 4-stars, and 6 5-stars. And Alabama is 1 with 24 commits, 17 4-stars, 4 3-stars, and 3 5-stars. And I don't know if you can tell me what the difference between a 4-star and a 5-star is.
It varies from, there's 24/7, there's Rivals, all these different services.
Yeah. This was Rivals 24/7.
And you and I may work for Rivals, you may work for 24/7, and we evaluate players. Yeah. We could look at player X, and we may evaluate him differently. That's kind of how it is. But everybody knows there's usually only about 30 to 35 5-stars in the country on a regular basis.
Yeah.
There's not a ton of them running around. But what's interesting is in that top 25 of rankings, you saw who the top 4 teams were?
The top 4
Yeah.
are teams in the
top 4 that are playing in the Final Four.
Except Alabama. Alabama's not
that's
in the
true.
Final
Well,
Four.
Alabama must just. I looked at it like
that just came yesterday.
Okay, I looked at it.
Did Oklahoma? Was Oklahoma in there?
No,
Ohio State.
No,
Clemson,
I'm sorry.
Yeah, you forgot about Oklahoma.
It was the one I saw 2 days ago. It was Clemson, Ohio State, LSU.
Yeah. And
Oklahoma's like 10th.
Yeah, right. They're not going to be up as high. When I was listening to other shows driving from here yesterday, and they were talking about these games, QB, and we can talk about.
But hang on just a second. But Taylor, that graphic is on our screen, right?
There it is.
Yeah. Scroll through that real slowly.
Look at Taylor.
Till you hit the gate. Okay, keep going.
Well,
keep
show
going.
The audience. I mean,
he is. The audience is seeing that.
See that?
So the thing about that, JC,
there's
what's going to move
Florida
that Gator head way up there the next couple of years? You know what's going to move it up?
Well, I would hope it's these things they're building over there.
You're dang right it is.
I mean,
because every one of those schools there have a standalone football facility.
And have for
every one of them.
And it's not new news either. No, there's no doubt that the kids are going to see these locker rooms with the lounge chairs and the lazy boys and the computer plug-ins and the TVs and the place to put your head and shoulders and everything. And they're going to say, I want that. And that's what they're saying right now at other schools and have been. And Florida's a little bit slow but catching up. 22 commits, although, is pretty good. I mean, you've got 15, according to that graphic on this Rivals 24/7 chart, 15 4-star. I mean, that's as good as it's been in years, isn't it?
Yeah, I think they're going to close really, really strong.
I mean, they could potentially be or conceivably be right up there where the A&M number is at 5 or the Ohio State number is at 4. I mean, there are Frisbee catching dogs on all these teams. And these recruits that are coming in with Clemson and Alabama and LSU and Florida, I mean, and the SEC seems to dominate these top 10 rankings. I don't know why everybody has such a hard problem understanding that. It's pretty obvious to me why, but I guess they do in the other parts of the country. But that is how you stay relevant and how you win. Obviously, that is the success, the mother's milk of football success is through this recruiting. As much as we hate to sometimes talk about it because we're talking about 18-year-olds and kids that change their mind and kids that show up on campus and then end up going back home because they get homesick or whatever the case may be, can't deal with it because practice is being too hard and they got too many guys to compete against, and all of a sudden they don't think they're as good a competitor as they used to be when they were in high school. All those things that factored in could change, but when you line up these numbers don't lie, and numbers are what you want, and that's what's made Clemson so good and Ohio State so good, and so and on and on and on, and Alabama and LSU and so forth. So I think Florida's going to get there. 10 wins does it, and the facilities are going to be the proverbial icing on the cake.
Yeah, Florida will be a top 5 recruiting school from here on out once that facility's built.
And then that's going to give Georgia, that's going to bring some balance to the East, I think. Because right now it's been Georgia's division for, well, I guess since
But Georgia,
McElwain
I think with Georgia losing Sam Pittman to Arkansas, he was one of their top recruiters.
Yeah, he was.
And that's
Kirby's going to get players. I mean, Kirby's going to get players. He
knows
knows what he's doing up there. I don't care what the Georgia fans say. And I mean, I do, but I don't care what Florida fans say about Georgia fans. They're better off with Kirby than they were with Mark Richt. I mean, let's just.
I agree, but he's.
How many years did Mark Richt win the SEC?
Once.
15 years.
Kirby's only won it once.
Yeah, Kirby's been there 3. I'd be willing to bet that he's going to win it more than once.
Maybe.
We'll see. 15 years.
We'll see. A lot of football left.
A lot of football.
All right. Well, this is Pod Up with Shane Matthews. He's JC. I'm the QB. We're coming to you live every Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. There'll be advertising and sponsorship opportunities coming soon. If you want to get involved with the text line or call us, it's 352-353-7465. We're going to take a quick time out.
We'll break down some of that. I want to talk about that the Final Four games.
You do again?
I just want. Well, I mean, we.
You're going to break them down for us?
I'm not.
Should we get a chalkboard out?
Well, we could do something. We'll have fun with it though. We'll be back. Just a minute.
Welcome back to Pot Up. Shane Matthews. This is John Cornell, better known as JC and the QB.
Man. One former Florida quarterback called me this morning, a friend of mine and yours, and was so excited that we were redoing the show and back on that. He said he almost sped through a school zone. So he was very excited about that.
Do I know him?
Oh, yeah, you know him. He's the guy who I think can hit it farther than you on the golf course.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah.
He might. The way I'm hitting it right now, he might.
Well, this is also bowl season, and we will talk a little bit about the Final Four games of the college football playoffs. But the bowls are part of college football, always have been, and there's never going to be an 18 playoff unless they can figure out a way to incorporate the bowl system, because the bowl games mean jobs, they mean opportunities, they mean money, and they mean big things to the towns that host some of these games. Now, not all of them, but a lot of them, and of course the traditional New Year's Six bowl games are never going to go away, at least not probably while we are living, QB. So we will have that. We're also going to mention, Gator basketball has started. Obviously not the start we want, but they've only lost...
They're 6-3.
3 games. So, we'll get into that at some point. I guess we're going to have Chris Harry, aren't we?
Yeah, well, speaking of that, I was going to mention that. I'm hoping to have Chris Harry in studio tomorrow. So, we know you'll be traveling to go to the Army-Navy game, so I'm hoping to have Chris Harry to talk Gator basketball, because he's a guy, not only does he just cover the Gators and write about them, he's with them at every practice, every shoot around. He travels with the team.
Well, back in my media days, he was a newspaper beat reporter, and now he works for the school itself on the basketball beat. And he's always told me, he said, the newspaper was fun and all that, but I like this gig so much better because his access to the team is better than anybody else's.
Oh, yeah.
And so he's going to have the best insight. And I would suspect, QB, as we go through the next 3 or 4 months with basketball season, that he's going to be a regular.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Depending on his,
schedule.
Depending on his schedule.
Yeah, but it'd be cool if the Gators are playing. Say we're doing a show on a Wednesday morning, the Gators are playing in Starkville or Athens, Georgia, and we get Chris to join us.
Yeah, we could have Chris. We could pull up the gym, and Chris could be in the Stegman Coliseum.
Right. And if he says, Coach White has a fever of 101, and right now the team is coughing and choking everywhere, and there's sniffles everywhere, and I don't know how we're going to do that, and then they end up winning the game. You'll have inside type information with us here on Pod Up with Shane Matthews and JC and the QB. All right, so the bowl games start next Friday, a week from tomorrow. And it's a really cool game. There will be probably about 15 people at the game. But for the 2 teams playing in it, this is the best bowl game. If you play for both Buffalo or Charlotte, either Buffalo or Charlotte, because you get to go to the Bahamas Bowl.
Yeah, you know what's interesting about Charlotte, JC? They've only been playing football for 7 years.
It's amazing.
And what happened there?
Somebody took our picture. Go ahead. Taylor's saying, just keep talking, QB.
So
look, there's 2 of us.
Mike Hill, who was an assistant athletic director, I don't know if he was the number 2 in charge here or whatever, he became their athletic director last year. So now Charlotte, in their first year to ever make a bowl game, I'll be dang to get to go to the Bahamas Bowl.
That's awesome. It's a great trip. And how do you think those kids in Buffalo are feeling right now about that? They will play in the Bahamas Bowl on Friday, and the other game is Kent State and Utah State. Now, why do we mention any of this? Because there are things called bowl pools that people do. And so the QB is going to give you the winners of these games. Yeah, well, when we get close to them. I mean, not right now. I mean, like it happened. But we're going to help you with your bowl pools as we get into it next week. We'll do that. Are there any bowl games, though, prior to the New Year's Six games that stand out at all? I mean, some of these matchups, I mean, they don't look any different than a regular season game. Marshall, UCF, UAB, Appy State, Miami, and Louisiana Tech in Shreveport, which is kind of a cool place to go. I'm not sure the Miami. Well, it is for fans. I mean, come on, Shreveport's cool. Bossier City, dude. And then Pittsburgh, Eastern Michigan.
You know what's funny?
These games, I
haven't really looked at the whole bowl list
you
yet.
You haven't looked at them?
But I do know it's somewhat comical to me that the semis are playing in Tony the Tiger Bowl, right?
Yeah, Frosted Flakes.
Flakes.
Come on, bro. They're great.
Yeah. I think that's great.
Hey, they should be happy that they've got 15 practices they can participate in and go to a bowl game and do something with the way that season started. How about Willie resurfacing at FAU? Your guy, Willie Taggart, 5-year contract.
He'll win some games down there.
5-year contract. I mean, why wouldn't they? And here we have the Final Four that my man Taylor's put up on the screen for you folks. Look at that. The coolest logo. Oh, there. What happened? Oh, there it is over there. Look at how big it got. The coolest logo is without a doubt that one.
The Clemson Tiger.
Yeah, and then the OU thing is awesome. I mean that's.
But
so
it should be UO.
Yeah, I mean it is the University of Oklahoma.
Yeah,
but they're OU.
Yeah.
And then there's LSU and Ohio State. I'll tell you, man, this is probably the most, I think, could be considered maybe, hopefully, the most interesting Final Four in terms of parity with regard to these games, because in the past, these semifinal games have been blowouts.
Well, I think that one on our left.
That one?
Well, I'm not sure if it's our left or the viewers' left.
That one there?
The one with the
one
purple and gold and the crimson and white is going to be a blowout.
It is?
The more I look at that, JC, I mean, I love Lincoln Riley and what he does. I love Jalen Hurts, but Jalen Hurts has not thrown the football well this
he
year.
turns it over,
and
but he
hasn't thrown it
back.
He hasn't thrown it great late in the year. And they're going to have to keep up with LSU.
So,
and I don't think they
I
can.
heard an interesting stat about that game, QB. Do you realize that both those offenses, LSU and Oklahoma, total yards this year are separated by 1 yard? Look it up. Total offense for yardage this year separated by 1 yard. Now, you could make the argument that LSU played some better defenses than Oklahoma did, for sure. I mean, Oklahoma played Texas and Kansas and so forth. LSU played Auburn and Florida and Alabama and teams like that. But 13 points, if you're walking into an establishment in Biloxi or Las Vegas or in the Bahamas, is 13 points too many points to say, I'm willing to put my hard-earned money on this blowout that you've got going with LSU?
LSU's blown out a lot of good teams. They
have.
They beat Florida by 14. How bad they beat your team?
5.
Well, that was a late touchdown.
It was.
Okay.
They played single coverage, and Devontae Smith ran by them.
They buried Georgia.
They buried Georgia.
They're going to bury Oklahoma.
They're going to bury them. Oklahoma's defense is better. I mean, they've got
I mean, it's better than what it's been, but it's still not very good. Okay. Joe Burrow will just shred them.
Well, you realize they haven't won a playoff game yet, and they've been four times.
It seems like they've been in it every year.
It does seem that way, but I think they've been in it 4 times, at least 3, and they have yet to win. The last time Ohio State played Clemson out in the desert, we all saw what happened there. 31-0 or something like that, I believe. And Clemson is really not scared of Ohio State whatsoever. But this Ohio State team, I think, is a team that on both sides of the ball, you might want to say is the best balanced team. I mean, they may have their results this year have just been so overwhelmingly dominant. There's not been one close game. Clemson had a close game. Oklahoma had plenty of close games, and LSU, I guess you could say, had maybe one close game, although, like you said, it really may have not been as close as the score would indicate when they played Alabama. But, my goodness, Ohio State, I think, Ryan Day against Brent Venables.
Yeah, I mean,
talk about that.
I think Ryan Day's done a tremendous job, but Brent
Venables
is a tremendous defensive coordinator. The only concern I have for Clemson, and this is just, I haven't watched a lot of their games. There are only a few here and there. Their safety play to me is, I don't want to say below average, but it doesn't wow me. And I'm afraid, because if you watch the Virginia game, when Clemson blitzed, it put their safeties on an island, and that's how Bryce Perkins made a lot of his throws within the middle of the field. I think that's where Ohio State's going to attack them. I think that's the weakness of their defense. But when it's all said and done, Clemson can counteract that. They're so good on offense. They got probably 2 of the best receivers in the country
I've ever seen. I mean, T. Higgins.
And ETN is a tremendous running back.
T. Higgins is such an NFL guy. If I'm looking for anything in the draft next year, he's one of the top 5 picks.
Well, I mean you can look at the NFL rosters. There's tons of Clemson receivers in that league.
They're everywhere. Williams. I don't know. I mean, this guy Lawrence, he kind of had a slow start this year, but you're not going to bet against him. How can you bet against him? And now, on the other side of the ball, our boy Fields, he's only thrown 1 interception.
Yeah, he's played phenomenal.
He's accounted for something like 43, 44, something like that, 44 touchdowns. Mm-hmm. He is going to have the second highest vote total or vote count, I would think, in New York next week or this week.
Yeah, which ain't going to be much.
Well, no, I mean, obviously the LSU guy's going to win, Joe Burrow. But
you mean for second place? Yeah.
Yeah, for second place, he will be. I mean, it's amazing how this kid has turned his life around in his career, going to Ohio State and playing for Ryan Day.
Yeah, I think
great
Justin
decision.
Fields has had a tremendous year. And the reason his interception total's down is because he really doesn't force anything because he uses his legs. If he doesn't see anything open, he takes off running. Tremendous runner. I think if you force him into reading defenses and into passing situations, it'll play into the favor of Clemson.
So you like Clemson?
I do.
And you like LSU?
I do.
And
Battle of the Tigers.
Think about this game in New Orleans on January the whatever it is, in the middle of downtown New Orleans. With LSU fans and Clemson fans. So if you're a Clemson fan, do you go to this game in the desert, or do you save and go to the obviously try to get into New Orleans? Yeah, I went in 2011 to the Alabama LSU championship game, the BCS game they played, and it was an LSU home game. There's no getting around it. It absolutely was. So, I mean, I really think that the stars have aligned for Ed Orgeron and the LSU Tigers in 2019 because of everything that's gone right with their team injury-wise, with Joe Burrow and his development under Joe Brady, and with the fact that defensively they've gotten back to the nastiness that they were and that they've been in the past with Dave Aranda, and the fact that Ed Orgeron, National Coach of the Year, no question about it, has just made the entire state come up from the dead. It's an amazing reclamation at LSU, not just because they should be good or they have all of the advantages to be good, but because of what has happened on the field and the fact that offensively they have established a personality, and they are a team that is destined to win it this year. There is no doubt in my mind that they are winning this thing, and I think the fact that the game is in New Orleans, if they get through a game in Atlanta against a team that's never won in the playoffs, who just happened to slide into number 4 because the Pac-12 sucks, and there you have it. It's all lined up for them. If they don't win it this year, I don't know if LSU will ever win it.
Well, they're going to. I think. Well, they're going to have to beat Clemson. I think it's going to be Clemson, LSU, and New Orleans. And as you mentioned, it's all lined up for them. No question about it.
I mean, I know that
you're
LSU,
rooting for them.
Well, I don't want Clemson again to have to listen to 3 out of 4, 4 out of 5. This, that, they've taken over. They're the dynasty. I don't want to listen to your boys. They're your team, and I don't want to listen to you all summer talk about how great your Tigers are. And I'm just hoping that LSU beats them. I know you're rooting for Clemson.
No. I mean,
you're not.
I mean, I like Clemson.
You rooted for them to beat Alabama.
Well, because I didn't want Alabama to win. I may want LSU to win, but I definitely want Clemson. I definitely want Clemson and LSU to play each other.
Okay, I get it. So you more about you didn't want Alabama to win is more than you wanted Clemson to win.
No,
but you wanted them to lose more than you wanted Clemson to win.
I like the Clemson program. I like Dabo. I just like the way I love their facility.
Well, that's special.
Yeah.
Well, but what about this year? You going to root for them this year?
I'm going to root for them to get to New Orleans.
Oh, well, everybody's going to root for them to beat Ohio.
All right, you think so?
My God. Everybody outside of the Midwest or Mideast. It's the Mideast. So, I mean, I don't want. Do you want to listen to these Ohio State, the most arrogant fan base? So everybody says
that's what they say about you.
That's what they say, but it's wrong. It's the Ohio State fan base. I mean, when you've got Eddie George, your guy Eddie George, on game day talking about we're going to beat this team by 21 points. We're going to beat this team by 3 touchdowns. We're going to destroy the Penn State Lions. Blah blah blah.
They did.
They didn't win by 3 touchdowns, and they didn't cover either. So I hope they lose. I really hope they lose.
Well, they are. They are.
You think so?
I do. I really think Clemson is the better team.
Well, I mean, we're going to find that out. But Clemson has been, just kind of quiet, hiding in the bushes. And there's no reason to think it's going to change in the next 5-10 years, QB. I mean, the way they're recruiting.
Well, no,
that conference is done. It's finished.
Here's the thing.
Mike Norvell can just. I mean, you're going to win 8-9 games most at FSU.
No, Clemson is not going anywhere. I can tell you right now, there's probably 10 schools you can name that only have a chance to win the national title in football for the next 15 years.
Well, I think the way it's set up, that's right. And that's, yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's going to be the same people every year. Florida has a chance next year to get in the mix because of their schedule.
You want breakthrough teams, and Texas one day should.
Never.
Never?
I don't think they.
What do you mean never?
They have problems at Texas.
What do you mean they have problems?
I don't think Tom Herman's the guy.
Oh, well.
I know I know a couple kids that play on that team. I've talked to their parents. They're not real happy with Tom Herman there. He's been there for 3 years, JC.
They got the same results out of Charlie Strong that they're getting right now out of Tom Herman, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I don't know why he kicked Buechele off and kept Erlinger, although Erlinger's okay, but they don't play defense there, and I don't understand it. Is he an offensive guy or a defensive guy?
He's an offensive guy.
So
they're not great. They're not great on offense. They're good.
They score. They do. But they can't stop anybody.
But the University of Texas
they can't stop anybody.
Has to be one of the biggest disappointments in the last couple of years.
Have you talked to anybody that's going to the Orange Bowl?
No, but we sold our allotment of tickets in less than 2 hours.
And how many were those?
I don't know all those.
8,000?
I don't know.
How do you know they sold out?
Because I'm a season ticket holder and I got an email.
And it said what?
We sold out in 2 hours.
Oh. You didn't buy one?
I have player tickets.
You have access?
Well, I have a kid on the team.
Are you going to? Well, I know, but that doesn't mean you're going to go. You like to sit in the
I do like
house.
to sit at home and watch.
Okay. I have a kid on the team. Well, these are indisputable facts, but I didn't know that meant you were going to go. You go, the farthest you go is 6 miles to North.
What is this? What is this map?
This
we got
map
put on
that
up here?
Taylor's putting up here. What do you got there, Taylor? Okay. Rooting interest. I noticed that
Look at all those OU people.
Where and
they're rooting for OU in Hawaii.
And since when? And in Alaska. And since when did Clemson have so many fans in Minnesota and LSU had so many fans in Washington State and New Hampshire? New Hampshire's over there.
That's hilarious.
I love that. That's based on Twitter data. Nobody in Alabama is rooting for LSU. Oh, well, obviously we know why they're rooting for Oklahoma, right? In Alabama, Jalen. But Clemson doesn't have any real support. I mean, the Carolinas and Minnesota.
That is crazy.
So but Ohio State, look at that. The entire Mideast, and then in the Northeast is Ohio State. I guess that makes sense. Why don't people in the Big Ten despise Ohio State the way everybody despises Alabama in the Southeast? Why? Ohio State punks every lousy garbage team in the Big Ten as much as any team would that dominates its conference. And yet, look at all those lovers they got in the Mideast and Midwest of the country. Look at that. And it is Mideast, by the way, because most of those states are in the Eastern time zone. Thank you.
Why does Wisconsin like LSU?
Well, that's why the same reason why Minnesota likes Clemson. And look at New Hampshire. What the hell is wrong with New Hampshire? I mean, you've got Vermont, Massachusetts, and Maine all on board with Ohio State, and somehow the great people in the Granite State of New Hampshire are Tiger fans.
You know what I see out of that whole Twitter data?
Yes,
is
Twitter data.
That people are tired of the SEC and the Clemson Tigers.
No doubt. There's no doubt about it. I mean, that's a really cool graphic. Taylor working overtime over there. OU's got the most fans in the most flyover states, but I think the most fans, population-wise, is certainly Ohio State. That's another reason why I want them to lose. The Northeast has nothing. It's Penn State, and then that's it. And then I guess Ohio State is their conference big dog. 8:44 in the morning is where we are. JC and the QB here on Pod Up with Shane Matthews. And you can, of course, text or call us at 352-353-7465. We're going to take a quick break and then get back to some of those text messages that have rolled in while we've talked about the country and wrap up this program, which seems to fly by when you do an hour, and we're happy to do it. Advertising and sponsorship opportunities coming soon. Keep your eye open for that. Facebook Live and YouTube, it's Pod Up with Shane Matthews. We'll return in a moment.
All right, welcome back. Pot Up here on a Thursday morning.
Thursday, baby.
We're coming to you live every Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. We are in Royal Melbourne Golf Club. Right there. JC and the QB. And we got some text messages while we were looking at that graphic of the United States.
Yeah, that was so cool.
I have a text message for you, JC. It's Greg from Dothan, Alabama.
Oh, baby.
He wants to know, do you think Tua comes back?
I do. I think he comes back. I think his hip injury is too unpredictable for the NFL to give him a higher than third-round draft pick spot. I don't think he wants a third-round or higher or lower draft. I think he wants to go on the first day or maybe the first round of the second day. And I think playing one more year to show that he can complete a full season is what his goal should be and will be. And I think he will do that. They are recruiting some really good players to play quarterback. They've already got a couple right now behind Tua, but it's Tua's team next year if he wants it. So I'm saying yes, my man from Dothan. He is coming back to play his senior year. Now, that doesn't mean his receivers are. Jalen Waddle will. The other three will not.
Waddle has to.
Waddle has to because he's a sophomore.
Yeah.
Correct. Now, here's one for you, QB. This is from Roger over in Gainesville, here in Gainesville. And Roger wants to know about South Florida football and Kerwin Bell, the former Florida quarterback who was the offensive coordinator for now fired coach Charlie Strong. And, of course, when that happens, the whole staff basically goes. And in this case, that happened to Kerwin. Where will he potentially land? Will he look for a head job, or will he stay and try to get another gig with a solid or a solidified head coach somewhere established?
Well, it's not 100% confirmed that he will not be at South Florida. He's still out recruiting for them.
He is.
Yes.
Okay. So
Jeff
he's on
Scott,
the payroll still?
Well, he signed a couple of years, 2 or 3 year contract. But when coaches get fired, if you are not fired immediately as an assistant, you still have to recruit and honor your contract.
So you're getting paid.
So I talked to him the other day. I was like, how is it recruiting for a school that you're not sure you're actually going to be there? And it's, his job to go in there and, just meet with the families.
When the kid says, I want to play for you, coach, but how am I, how does he, what's he tell the kid?
But anyway, he's going to probably meet with Jeff Scott because he'll meet with all the current coaches. And then most coaches bring in their own guys. But Kerwin's a very good offensive guy, and it's a shame what happened. He's been very successful everywhere he's been. He's never worked for anyone. The talent level, I will say this, offensively at South Florida was below par.
Did they not have Blake Barnett to start the season?
He did. He got hurt like the second game, broke his ankle. They had to play some guys.
So is he redshirting?
No, he's done. He's played like 12 years, JC. He's played at every school in America.
So he's pretty much over.
Yeah, but they had no speed at the receiver position.
No, they were awful.
So it's just bad. It was not a fun year for him, and we'll see what happens. He will land somewhere, if not staying at South Florida, but we'll see.
Well, that's good. I hope it all works out for my man Kerwin. We always rooted for him. Did Jacksonville? What happened to that program?
JU, I guess from a money standpoint,
would he have stayed there knowing? I mean, would they have kept the program if he had stayed? You think?
Well, Kerwin left JU and went to Valdosta State.
And then he went to South Florida.
Yes, he won a national title at Valdosta because you couldn't win a national title at JU because they don't play it. They're not allowed to go in the playoffs.
Yeah, they're in the Pioneer League, or were. Now they're done.
No more football for the Dolphins.
Oh, that's a shame.
It is a shame.
Well, I don't know. I think he's got his work cut out for him, certainly, but at least he's getting paid. And that's the thing about these coaches, man. They bounce around. It's a small business. And there are some coaches, though, that stay on the staff when their coach gets fired. And I just had his name. It just left me.
Which coach?
I'll have to think about it. It's just,
You're getting old, JC.
I don't know what the hell to say, but he was retained, and I don't know why. I can't remember who it was. But at any rate, we've got a lot of SEC teams playing in bowl games. Florida is also playing in the Orange Bowl, of course. We'll talk much more about this as we get through the month of December. Another text came through on our text line as well as our call line, folks. You can call in at 352-353-7465. And this is Sarah at the University of Florida on campus watching on Facebook Live. And Sarah says, a lot of players are leaving their teams because they are afraid to get hurt in these bowl games, and that could adversely affect their draft position. What is Florida's status? Are we losing any players for this bowl game, and will our players be excited to play against the Virginia Cavaliers, who were blown out by Clemson in their conference championship game? Very good question. Thank you, Sarah.
Yes, we will be excited to play. We have an opportunity to win 11 games. Florida has only had, I believe, in the 100-something years of football they've played, only like 12 10-win seasons.
Yeah.
It's something along that. I could be off
they
by
used to not play 12. They used to only play 11.
No.
So,
I said 10-win seasons.
10 wins, right.
Okay.
Right.
They have an opportunity to win 11 in Dan Mullen's second year, so we will be ready to play. We will not have C.J. Henderson starting corner. He is declared for the draft. I don't blame him one bit. He is not going to play because he'll be a first-rounder. Everyone else is scheduled to play. Now, that doesn't mean some of those juniors will not leave school early.
Grenard will play.
He's a senior.
He's a senior, so he'll play.
Supposedly Zuniga is going to play, which is surprising because he's been hurt so much this year.
Yeah, but maybe it's a chance for him to show.
Could be. So we'll see. Marco Wilson is another junior that could go pro, but he is going to play in this game. So for the most part, we should go down there
and take care of business.
Should.
Got to get on to Bryce Perkins, make him run, make him, just put some pressure on him. That's what Clemson did. He had some success early in that game. I thought it was interesting for a while until Clemson decided to quit fooling around. They cannot protect. I think Florida's defense is going to have a field day with this game, and just like Clemson's did. So I don't know. I mean, these tie-ins to these bowl games, they are what they are. I don't know how else you could do it with all the bowl games they have, but I mean, this is the best we got.
Yep, that's it. And so we're going to wrap up Thursday edition today.
Well,
JC?
we've got about.
We want to wish you a good trip to the Army-Navy
off
game.
to Philadelphia.
Make sure you get a good jersey, some new hats, all that good stuff.
I'll bring back some gear for Monday's show.
Hopefully tomorrow we'll have Chris Harry talking Gator basketball.
Yeah,
but you've been listening to Pod Up with Shane Matthews, JC and the QB. See you tomorrow morning.